Hello and welcome to Sound Like, and in today's video we're going to be checking out how to sound like Slash / Guns N' Roses. I'm Harry and this is Dan.
Hello.
Jamie has regenerated like the Doctor and he has now turned into a person who can play guitar. That includes playing like Slash.
I'm in a Guns N' Roses tribute band, so this is my fault. But I thought we'd make it the mission to get a budget-friendly rig over here and a ridiculous budget rig over here, which is many pounds.
Many pounds. So how we've done Sound Like previously, we have identified a budget, looked around the entire shop of what we have and how we can apply that budget, that kind of aim of what to sound like, and then picked accordingly. What we've done for you in this video is pre-assemble everything, talk you through our reasoning and show you what it sounds like straight away. Hopefully it's a bit more fluid, forward-thinking and more engaging for you. But Dan, as you are the Guns N' Roses boy, little Slash boy, Dan / boy. Dan / boy. I need you to identify the brief, what is Slash, what does he sound like, what have we got, what have we assembled for the audience to show them today.
So, Slash is a person with long black hair and he plays guitar in a small known band from a little town called Guns N' Roses.
There's a small town called Guns N' Roses?
No, there's a small band called Guns N' Roses from a small town known as Los Angeles.
Ah, fun fact, Slash is actually born in England.
Stoke-on-Trent.
Stoke-on-Trent. Insert the Stoke-on-Trent song.
Stoke-on-Trent, oh yeah, to Stoke-on-Trent. Historic town on the River Trent.
Now we understand what Stoke-on-Trent is and why Slash left. So, Slash, known for Strats and Fender Twins, yes?
No, he is known for Les Pauls and very low Marshalls on a gain channel.
So Dan, for this video we've assembled essentially two rigs with two different briefs. One, a budget-friendly rig. That budget is between 1,500 to 2 grand. That might not sound very budgety, but we want to get something that is both gig-friendly, giggable, and actually sounds nice, looks nice, kind of plays the part as well, so it kind of does push up what an imaginary budget might be. Ideally we'd like to get something for $1 grand, but for this sort of thing, for this approach, I feel that we want a little bit of extra legroom to get something in there. So the budget is 1,500 to 2 grand. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think the idea of a budget being $1 grand for a rig now is very much pushing.
Very ambitious.
Yeah, it's ambitious and it's very much pushing what we can get out of that kind of equipment, while still maintaining the objective of sounding like Slash.
Yeah, there's only so far those little Squire pack amps can really go.
Yeah, the other thing as well, the main reason we're using the head and cab rather than the combo is because we are using the Bagheera power soak so that we don't blow the windows out of the shop.
Ideally, we like to keep windows.
Yes.
Good point. Okay, so first things first is we're going to look at the guitars that we've got, then the amps, and then the pedals, if we are using pedals at all. Spoiler alert, we are. So we've got two rigs, so we've got two guitars to go with. First is an Epiphone. Talk us through the Epiphone. So
this is an Epiphone Les Paul in the 59 outfit that they did at the relaunch of the Inspired by Gibson branding for Epiphone. It has got the burst bucket pickups in it, hence the slightly heftier price tag than its counterparts of the standards, with a slightly different finish as well. This is more of a satin finish all over the guitar, meant to replicate the VOS finish on the higher end models.
And the second guitar?
The second guitar is a Gibson Les Paul True Historic R9 from 2017. It is an absolutely gorgeous piece of kit and a guitar that I would very much like to take home with me. However, I don't have $6 grand. Slash's original guitar was made by a chap called Chris Derrick, who didn't work at Gibson, but was into making 59 copies of Les Pauls, and Slash ended up with one. So it's quite funny that Gibson's Les Paul brand boy started with not a Gibson.
Well, you've got to start somewhere.
You have got to start somewhere.
It's the journey, not the destination.
That is true. So the only person champing the Les Paul in the late 80s was in fact not playing a Les Paul. He was playing one built by someone else, which does make it slightly awkward. And this gorgeous thing is the Gibson True Historic from 2017, based on the 59 Les Paul.
He's been very excited about this.
I've been waiting for this shoot since we organised it, because I knew that this
Because
was
you
the-
knew that you were going to get to play your special
yeah,
favourite toy.
this was going to be the one I picked. So, well, the way they made these is they got a genuine 59 and reproduced all of the parts as closely as they could without breaking the law, because some of the things they used to use in Les Pauls are now against the law to manufacture with,
Wait, why?
like certain glues and things.
Will cause cancer.
Yes, but they're
That sort of
also,
thing.
some of them are made out of endangered animals. Well, animals that are now endangered, which isn't great.
So what you're saying is there are guitars out there that are not vegan friendly.
Yes, essentially.
Wow.
Because glue used to be made of animals for a long,
Horses?
long time. Various animals.
Various animals.
Just various fats and things from
Delicious, delicious. fats.
delicious fats. Yeah. Yeah, this is made as accurately as possible to the original 59s from back in today. It's got Gibson custom Booker pickups, which what they would have done is taken the pickups out of the 59, looked at how many winds and pole pieces and everything like that, and tried to reproduce them as closely as physically possible. But no two guitars are the same, so
No.
that's pretty difficult. I will say, they've done a stunning job.
Have they?
Yes,
I wouldn't know.
it is.
I'm a self-professed not a Les Paul fan, so if someone says this is a particularly pretty or beautiful Les Paul, my stock response has always been, is it?
Yes, this one is.
Because my preference is the Telecaster, the superior instrument. But on this one occasion, I'm, allowing myself to be in the presence of a Les Paul.
Yes.
So if you say it's a nice one, I will smile and nod.
Yes, it is a nice one. Cue smiling and nodding.
Speaking of queuing and smiling and nodding, let's have a little listen of what it sounds like. And so we're back, and you can spot immediately that there are 2 continuity errors. Can you spot them? Let us know down in the comments below. Whilst you're doing that, we're going to talk about amps. So to establish, we need to know what Slash uses. So Dan, as our resident Slash expert, Schlexpert, if you will, what does he use?
So right now he is using his new Magnatone SL100.
Right now.
This second. In years past, he has used a Marshall Silver Jubilee, the big 100-watt head.
On screen now.
And we don't have one of those.
We did, but not anymore. That's how shops work. We sold it.
Yes.
Sold her.
Sold her.
She's not mine anymore. So no Silver Jubilee, so what have we got instead for both of these rigs?
So the Silver Jubilee was a modified JCM 800 circuit. So as we haven't got the Silver Jubilee, we figured, well, we may as well just have the unmodified version of the JCM 800 in the studio and the original one from 1985, I think it said?
Correct.
1985.
So it's almost the next best thing.
Almost
The
the next
second best thing.
Yeah, you're going to struggle to get closer than that, really.
Yeah.
Unless you have an original.
In this economy, you know,
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
So in terms of cabs, we've got this Marshall 1960A 4x12. And for the budget side, this is the SC20H cab that comes with the
matching pair of this lovely snakeskin finish.
The matching pair and the white snake skin.
Look at him, he's so full of knowledge and things and information.
I know some things sometimes.
Or it's 60% of the time.
60%
he remembers
of the time.
all of the time. And in terms of the amp settings that we've got, what are we kind of running with now? They are very similar in terms of like, well, actually they have not got the same controls.
They don't have the same controls.
It's trying to be the same controls, but it's not. So what are we running with?
On this side,
The budget side.
we've got the presence about halfway up. About to add a bit more bass on this side because it's only a 2x12.
So you're running that to compensate?
Yeah, running it to compensate for the tone of that. Both of them are pretty mid and treble heavy, if you like, but this one has the advantage of preamp gain and a master volume. So if you were to have this amp in your bedroom at home,
You'd be told off.
you'd A, be told off, yes, but B, you'd be able to drive the amp with a gain channel without disturbing everybody in the nearest like 3 miles.
I'd find a way.
Yeah, I imagine I would as well.
And then on the 80s one, big boy, non-studio.
Yes, on the big boy itself. Presence we're also running about halfway, however the bass is turned down because of the bigger cab. Mid and treble heavy again, with both volumes of both channels about halfway up, but then put through our Bagheera Power Soak over here. And the 2 channels are patched together as pretty much everybody
As everyone has ever done.
Yeah.
Why they don't have an option for that outside of a patch cable?
It's a bit weird, but there
I mean,
we go.
this was from 1985, so I'm going to give it a pass.
Yeah.
But why they don't have that now,
Strange.
who could say? Cool, so we've established that. The budget is very, very similar in terms of what we're going for the kind of the dream rig, the unlimited budget rig. But it's up to you to kind of tell us if you think that they are both comparable to Slash, if they sound similar, and which one sounds best. And the only way to do that is just to check it out with this next demo. So the last section we're going to be looking at is the pedals that we've used for this rig. I'm holding the wah because it doesn't stand up quite as nicely as the pedals here. So the thing that comes to mind when I think about Slash is a wah, but not in a Kirk Hammett kind of way, but in a kind of slashy kind of way. Do you know what wah he uses?
So Slash has had two different signature wahs. He had the original one, which had a boost, toggleable boost on the side just next to the input.
Not this.
Not that one. And then he had another one that was kind of had a silvery chromed finish that was a bit dented, but then they realised it was incredibly expensive to make.
So
no. On his current blues tour, he is using just a standard Crybaby wah. And when he's doing big stage stuff with Guns N' Roses, he has a rack mount wah on a Slash preset, and he has 4 controllers across the stage.
So the wah that we're running with is this Clyde McCoy.
Yes.
And the model number is written on. I don't really know. I have a wah. Do I know what it is? No. Does it go wah wah? That's all I care about. Why have we gone for this one, Dan? Because it goes wah wah as well?
Yeah, it's a pretty standard Crybaby wah, which again, it's before he had his signatures, which I think came around in the 2000s. He was using a stock wah anyway, so if anyone is kind of, who might be watching, say this video, they can just get a wah and it will do what they want it to. Yeah.
Because there are different ones out there that have got like massive sweeps and so on, but it does fine. Your standard Crybaby.
A traditional Crybaby wah will be absolutely fine if you're trying to sound like Mr. Slash.
So we move from Crybabies to Ibanez Tube Screamers. Why have we chosen an Ibanez Tube Screamer, dare I ask? Again, as the non-Slashman who knows nothing about them, I'm just here as the pretty voice, the conduit for the average working man or woman. And to ask Dan, who's the fountain of knowledge, why this?
So the reason I chose the Ibanez Tube Screamer.
Not just any Ibanez Tube Screamer. That's a made in Japan Ibanez Tube Screamer.
It is an original made in Japan, hence the Japanese writing on the back. The reason is because when they made the Marshall Silver Jubilee, it also had a mid hump that they added to it. Don't giggle.
Like a camel.
Yes, they added a hump in the mid frequency. Stop. They added.
I'm back now, I'm serious.
Yes.
Hurrah for father!
They added a mid-frequency hump in it. Oh, for God's sake.
Come on, okay. They added, yes, after the next sentence.
They added a boost in the mid-frequency.
There we go.
They added a boosted mid-frequency in it, which the Ibanez Tube Screamer does very well. It's actually what they were originally used for in the JSM 800, as well as a boost. However, it's quite rare that a traditional Tube Screamer is used as just an overdrive pedal. In this kind of music, anyway.
In this kind of music.
Yeah, that is why I picked it. And lastly,
it's just the most awkward reach.
yeah, we have the NXR Analog Chorus. The reason I chose this for our chorus pedal is because this is the one that Slash uses. He has used it since...
Well, the MXR one?
Yes.
Wow, so we actually have something that he uses.
Yes, he has used it since...
Time began.
Since time began.
Since before Steam was invented. Because he's that old.
He is very old. He has been using this pedal since Appetite for Destruction came out. He's not really much of a modulation fan. So the pedals he has are pedals that he just bought back in the day that he's carried on using for
so he hasn't then,
many years.
Updated it then. It's just, this works then. I'm not so into it. I don't need to update it. I've never known it to be much of kind of an effects kind of guy. It's very much, guitar stack go. With a wire in there in between. And if you listen to Appetite for Destruction, which I have on great authority, is the best-selling debut album of all time.
It is.
It's just, guitar stack go.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my humble ears, which kind of I'm more used to kind of trying to listen at for more effects and more interesting sonic kind of activity that's going on through a guitar channel. It's quite interesting to still, for me, I believe, to still have that sort of approach from guitar, because it's moved on so much, technology's moved on so much, to have quite a large number of guitarists, both old and new, that still want to just do guitar, amp, go. Maybe with a little bit of stuff here and there, but as you said, he's not much of a modulation guy. He's a bit of waff, some expression.
I think a lot of people are cursed by choice now when it comes to gear, because they have an absolutely gigantic pedal board, amps to the ceiling of different kinds of amps that they have and use, whereas the magic of just plugging in and going with it, I think, is a bit more lost these days.
True. I think it might depend on how you use your gear.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at like the Line 6 range, like the Helix, the HX Stomp stuff, that is trying to be like a plug in and go sort of thing. Like, some of them you can actually get whole amps and whole sounds in there. Yeah,
I do use a Headrush Prime myself when I'm playing gigs, purely because lugging one of these around is not the easiest. Yeah. So I use a Headrush Prime when I'm on stage, and I essentially I've got my own Gibson Les Paul, but I have these pedals and the amp all inside the Headrush when I'm playing live. You know, I don't like to overcomplicate the rig.
Yeah, so I love to overcomplicate my rig, but that's for another time. So we've talked about chorus, we've talked about tube screamers, and we've talked about wahs. This is what all of that sounds like. So that was our demos for Sound Like Sound Like Guns N' Roses with two rigs, a budget-friendly rig, and we're just going to spaff everything and see what it sounds like kind of rig. It was quite fun. I am, obviously, as I've said, I'm not really much of a Slash fan, not much of a Guns N' Roses fan, so I've looked at this from a very technical, objective point of view. Dan, behind the scenes, has had the absolute best day of his life. This is Christmas and birthday rolled into one.
Yeah, like, this has just been like, why don't you come into work, Dan, and play a ridiculously expensive Les Paul through a big JSM 800? Or if I have to, you know.
He's very humble, he's very good at, and Sweet Child of Mine just comes on in the background. No, it's been really fun for me, I've learnt a lot, and the unsung hero of this whole shoot has been the little
Bagheera Power Soak.
Yes, that, I can't even remember it. So, do let us know what you thought about the video down in the comments below, like, share and subscribe, and tell us what you'd like to do next in our Sound Like series.
All the links for the gear are in the description below as well.
Yes, they are down there somewhere. I've been Harry.
I've been Dan.
And thanks for watching.
Ta-ta.